Hello viewers, I am Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal, stand before you with a very important topic of DSE-3 of 6th semester, that is Determinants of India's Foreign Policy. What factors determine India's foreign policy? But before I discuss what are the determinants of India's foreign policy, I want to inform my viewers that my channel name is @Dilip Kumar Pal 9375. If you will search this channel in Google, you will find more than 400 videos relating to plus 2 first year to plus 2 second year political science, plus 3 first semester to plus 3 sixth semester political science honors, and some of the videos relating to environmental studies of plus 3 first semester, which is common for plus 3 arts, commerce and science students. Again, I want to inform my viewers that if you have subscribed my channel, definitely you will be benefited. And if you have not subscribed channel, subscribe. And those of your friends who are in above classes, aware them about this channel, so at least some students will be benefited. And be sure that a single help which you may give to any of your friend, definitely the help will not go in vain. It will come back to you in any form. Let us start. And again, I want to inform my viewers that if you will write my name Dilip Kumar Pal and the name of the topic in YouTube, also you will get both the Odia video and English video. Let us start. Determinants of India's foreign policy. No doubt in the world, every country has its foreign policy. But foreign policies are being determined by some factors. Just like a child is being determined by his father, mother, teacher, in a similar manner, the foreign policy of every country is being determined by some determinants or factors. In the same way, India's foreign policy is also determined by some factors which we'll discuss in this video. So what are the determinants of India's foreign policy? According to George Modelsky, foreign policy means activities of different states in relation to other states. According to George Modelsky, foreign policy means activities of a state in relation to other states. It means the plans, objectives and actions of a state in relation to other state. It means foreign policy means the activities of a state, the behavior of a state towards other states is known as the foreign policy. Foreign policy of a country is determined by some factors. Foreign policy of India is determined by following factors. Here we discuss both internal factors and external factors. First of all, take off. Internal factors means factors from within the country. So in the first internal factor is the geographical identity. Geographical identity means size of the country and the location of the country. India's foreign policy is determined by its geographical entity. It includes size of the India and the location of India. So how the size of the country, size of India and location of India determine India's foreign policy? India is a large country having about 15,000 kilometer in area and having about 7,500 kilometer coastline, and is the seventh largest country in the world, and it is surrounded by China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka in its north, west, east and south side respectively. India will have to look after all these things through foreign policy. So India is a large country. Its area is 15,000 kilometer. Its coastline is 7,500 kilometer. China is in its north. Sri Lanka is in its south. Pakistan is in the west. Bangladesh is in the east. 4 states are its bordering neighbors. So, these factors, India is a large country and it is surrounded by 4 nations in the north, east, west and Sri Lanka and south. It influences India's foreign policy. So the largeness of the country, and it is being surrounded by 4 nations, it determines India's foreign policy. It is the size as a factor. Then location as a factor also determines India's foreign policy. Again, its location is in the central place of large continent Asia. India is located in the central place of the large continent Asia, and it is a gateway of South, East and West Asia and near to Asian nations. It is surrounded by Indian Ocean in 3 angles through which major sea routes are found, and naval base of Diego Garcia of USA is situated. It also determines India's foreign policy. Again, location of India also determines India's foreign policy. India is located in the heart of Asia. Then it is surrounded by Indian Ocean in 3 angles through which major sea routes are found, and near Indian Ocean, Diego Garcia, the defense base of America, is situated. So India is located in a strategic position and it determines also India's foreign policy. So first of all, the geography means the large size of the country, India, and India is situated in a strategic place. It determines India's foreign policy. Whenever foreign policy of India is being prepared, it is considered by the formulator of foreign policy. Otherwise, India's foreign policy will become fruitless. Number 2, history and traditions. Many great personalities of past India like Emperor Ashok, Swami Vivekananda, Gautam Buddha, Gandhiji, etc. told about non-violence, free from revengefulness, universal brotherhood, toleration, etc. So Indian foreign policy is influenced by above and based on peace, non-violence and toleration. Another factor which determines India's foreign policy is the history and tradition. It means in India there were some personalities like Gautam Buddha, Emperor Ashok, Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda. They told about non-violence, toleration, not to take revenge, peace. Personalities of these persons have their impact on India's foreign policy. So India's foreign policy is based on peace, non-violence and toleration. India always wants to may have peace. India doesn't want to interfere in other nations. India doesn't want to create violence. India always carries out peaceful means. So India's foreign policy is being influenced by the great personalities of past of India. Number 3, economic development. Economic development also determines India's foreign policy. Initially, India was a poor country which was dependent on food grains of Western countries, especially America. India was depending for food grains from Western countries. At the time, India's foreign policy was different. But now, India is considered a powerful country exporting food grains and major raw materials. India is now exporting food grains and major raw materials. It is now a rule maker nation and not rule follower country. It has enough foreign exchange reserve. Now, so nations are coming towards India to make a relationship. It also determines India's foreign policy. So third important factor who determines India's foreign policy is the economic development. There was a time when India was a poor country. It was importing food grains from Western countries, especially America. But now, at the time India's foreign policy, when India was a poor country, at the time India's foreign policy was something different. But now, the time has been changed. Now, India is exporting food grains and raw materials, precious raw materials to foreign countries. Now, India is a lawmaker, not law follower. Now, India has much foreign exchange reserve. Now, nations are interested to have relationship with India. So, it also act as a determinant of India's foreign policy. Number 4, political structure. As India is a democratic country and all its political parties, political elites, different groups believe in democratic ideals. So India always propagates democracy and want to have relationship with democratic countries and avoiding a relationship with non-democratic countries. It determines India's foreign policy. So the fourth factor who determines India's foreign policy is the political structure. Political structure means the political ideology. Now India has democracy. All its political parties, political elites, different groups, they believe in democratic ideals. And India also propagates democracy in the world. So, the democratic ideology of India also acts as a determinant of India's foreign policy. As in India there is democracy, India always wants to have good relationship with democratic countries. India is avoiding its relationship with the non-democratic countries. So, the political ideology or the political structure of India, which is democracy, it also determines India's foreign policy. The fifth one is institutions and interest groups. There are some institutions, groups, which also determine India's foreign policy. Various groups like PMO, Prime Minister's Office, MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, IFS, Indian Foreign Service, MOD, Ministry of Defense, DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization, RAW, Research Analytical Wing, IV, Investigation Bureau, Parliament, NGO, non-governmental organizations fighting for world problems like climate change, human rights, etc. determine also India's foreign policy. There are also various groups and interest groups also determine India's foreign policy. These groups are PMO, Prime Minister Office, MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, IFS, Indian Foreign Service, MOD, Ministry of Defense, DRDO, Defense Development and Research Organization, DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization, RAW, Research Analytical Wings, IV, Investigation Bureau, Parliament, NGO, non-government organization, those who are fighting for climate change, world problems, protection of human rights, they also have their impact on India's foreign policy. Then, ethnic factor, races, also determine India's foreign policy. How? There are many races having similarity with Indian races, like Tamil in Sri Lanka, Madhesi in Nepal, Punjabi in Pakistan, etc. also force India to have soft corner about them. Again, infiltration of Bangladeshi people to India and shelter to Tibetans in India also determine foreign policy of India. So, ethnic factor also determine India's foreign policy, because there are some races in the border of India who have similarity with the Indian people, like Tamil in Sri Lanka, Madhesi in Nepal, Punjabi in Sri Lanka, Punjabi in Pakistan. So all these persons also influence India's foreign policy. Then infiltration of Bangladeshi to India, then giving shelter to Tibetans in India also act as determinant of India's foreign policy. Then religious identity. As in India, people of many religions are found, like Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Buddhist, etc. and a Muslim majority in Kashmir. It has an impact on India's foreign policy. India is a land of many religions. In India, Hindu, Sikh, Parsi, Buddhist, Jains, Sikhs, etc. are found. It also determines India's foreign policy. Then, in India, Kashmir is a state which has Muslim majority people. It also influences India's foreign policy. So, these are all internal factors which determine India's foreign policy. Then, external factors. There are also external factors which determine India's foreign policy. Number one, development in neighboring nations. Continuous development of nuclear weapons by China and Pakistan, changes of government in the neighboring countries favoring or disfavoring India also have their influence on India's foreign policy. Development in neighborhoods. India had many neighbors, like China in north, Sri Lanka in south, Pakistan in west, Bangladesh in the east. Changes in these neighboring states also influence India's foreign policy. For example, development of fatal nuclear weapons by China and Pakistan. Changes of government in neighbors, whether they are favoring in India, non-favoring in India, it also influences India's foreign policy. Then, big power politics. There was a time when world was bipolar world. Some group under America, some group under Russia. And India at the time was following non-alignment policy. But now the world has become unipolar world. Only America is the powerful country. It has impact on India's foreign policy. It is known as big power politics. There was a time when world was bipolar. World was divided into two groups, one under America, other one under Russia, USSR. At the time, India was non-aligned country. India was neutral country. It was maintaining relations with American group, Russian group. But now, Only America is the powerful country. Now world is the unipolar world. So it has its impact on India's foreign policy. Then regional organizations. There are various regional organizations of which India is a member. Like India is a member of SAARC, which was formed in 1985. BRICS, which was formed in 2009. IPSA, which was formed in 2003. It also determines foreign policy. International organization. There are various international organizations like UNO, United Nations Organization, WTO, World Trade Organization, IMF, International Monetary Fund, WHO, World Health Organization, etc. also affect foreign policy of India. Then military strength. Defeat of India in 1962 war from China, war with Pakistan in 1948, 1965, 1971, then clashes with Pakistan in Kargil 1919, Siachen 1994, etc. also acted determinant on India's foreign policy. Nuclear weapons. Acquisition and sophistication of nuclear weapons in neighboring countries and international level also acted determinant. Day by day, neighbors of India and other nations of the world are acquiring nuclear weapons. They are sophisticating the nuclear weapons. All these things, for all these things, India gives attention. It also determines its foreign policy. So, in this video we have discussed what are the determinants of foreign policy. Here, I will mention, elaborate some abbreviation. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. It was formed in 2009. IBSA, I for India, B for Brazil, SA for South Africa. It was formed in 2003. SAARC, South Asia Association of Regional Conference. It was formed in 1985. RAW means Research Analytical Wing. IV, Investigation Bureau. MOD, Ministry of Defense. DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. MEA, Ministry of External Affairs. NGO, Non-Government Organization. IFS, Indian Foreign Service. EFP, Foreign Policy. PMO, Prime Minister Office. So in this video we discussed that Indian foreign policy is being determined by some factors. Just as a child is being determined by some persons, India's foreign policy is also being determined by some factors. Thank you, viewers. I request you to go through video and give your comment. I am waiting for it. Thank you. Have a good day.